on the news, federal government promises to carry out major investigation into adulterated petrol. Officers soldier killed as troops neutralized 4 suspected IPOB ESN members in Anambra State. And ASU accuses federal government of lip service, insists on strike action. It's good to have you join us again on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Mary Kanu. A notorious leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Eastern Security Network, and 3 older men have been shot dead by troops of the Nigerian Army. The shooting happened at Ihala town in Anambra State. Director, Army Public Relations Officer, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu announced this in a statement. Nwachukwu said the troops confronted AGK and his colleagues following a distress call that AGK and his men were enforcing a sit-at-home order and firing sporadically in and around a fuel station in Ihala town. Items recovered from them include 1 motorcycle, 2 pump-action, double-barrel guns, 12 live cartridges, and substances suspected to be cannabis, among others. Also, the Army spokesman confirmed the death of a soldier and an officer in an accident involving an Army combat vehicle. Following the adulteration of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, which led to panic buying and long queues, the federal government has said there will be a major investigation to know the cause of the unsafe quantity of methanol in the fuel imported into the country. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, made this known at a media briefing after the Federal Executive Council meeting in the State House on Wednesday. Although the minister refused to disclose the identities of the companies involved, he said they will be made known after the investigations are concluded. He also disclosed that the federal government would put into consideration Nigerians using the adulterated fuel. Meanwhile, experts have urged the government to expedite action against any person or organization responsible for excess methanol detected in fuel sold in petrol depots and fuel stations across the country. Speaking at an earlier interview with TV360 Nigeria, Sam Chidoka, Managing Director, Kairos Capital Limited, further advised that compensation should be offered to Nigerians who have incurred losses.
In the past few years, we've had stability with distribution of these products, whether it's PMS or diesel or kerosene. We've had some quite high level of stability, which is good, and you must commend the government and NNPC for doing that. But it's quite unfortunate that we've come to this place where, for some reason, I do not have the details of who imported and who inspected. But one of the things that we need to do as a nation is to hold people accountable. Whoever imported that the bad PMS, whoever certified it good enough for distribution should be found out and punished. Because you see, when we don't take decisive efforts, then these things tend to repeat themselves. 100 million liters of PMS that is not fit for consumption is presently in circulation. Like you rightly said, some people have lost their car engines to this. And I think that there should be a class action for those who have been affected, should come together and do a class action against whether it's the distributor or the filling stations where they bought them from. And let's see where this goes, because we need to be accountable for our actions or inactions, all right? It's quite unfortunate this has happened, and I'm hoping that it won't happen again anytime soon. And of course, the economic effect is that there is fuel scarcity, there are long queues at the filling stations, people cannot move around. As I speak to you, a good percentage of my colleagues are not at work today just because they couldn't get premium spirits to move around.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has accused the federal government of paying lip service to its promises to the lecturers. ASU President Emmanuel Oshodeke said the union has lost its trust in the government due to lack of implementation. Another strike looms as the leadership of ASU in various states have begun to mobilize members for the planned industrial action. Amid a series of negotiations between the lecturers and government, both parties have been at loggerheads over the welfare of members and the condition of universities in the country. Well, joining me to discuss this further is Dele Ashiru, the chairman, ASU Lagos State Chapter. Well, thank you very much for joining me on the news. For the sake of clarity, rather, if you could explain what exactly ASU is demanding.
Oh, thank you very much. Our union is demanding that the federal government honors an agreement it signed with our union since 2009. You will recall that in 2009, ASU and the federal government signed an agreement with four major pillars. The first is the condition of service of university teachers. The second is funding for revitalization of public universities. The third is university autonomy and other matters related thereto. Between 2009 and today, government has refused to review that agreement. But what is more worrisome today is that when we embarked on the 9 months strike last year, government promised that with its memorandum of action, they were going to ensure the speedy conclusion of the renegotiation of that agreement. We are glad to say that that agreement had been conclusively renegotiated in May 2021. Between that time and now, government has refused to do anything concerning the implementation of the renegotiated agreement. The implication of that is that our members have remained on the same emolument, on the same salary scale since 2009 till date, in spite of all the inflationary trend, in spite of the fall in the value of the naira. Our members are daily being subjected to harrowing and excruciating condition and put into abject poverty. We have engaged government several and made it abundantly clear to them that if by the end of January, nothing is done to implement the agreement that was already concluded, our union would have no choice than to commence an industrial action.
Well, now, Dele, sorry to cut you here, but talking about industrial actions, strike actions, now, they seem not to work. Over the years, ASU has gone on strike on several occasions. So now the question is, are there other channels your union is willing to explore to ensure that your demands are met?
Well, it is not correct that strike actions have not worked. They have worked. The little gains that we have and that we still have public universities in Nigeria today is on account of our struggles and the strikes to compel government to do the right thing. As to options, our union is a union of intellectuals. We are open to suggestions as to what other ways you can talk to somebody, a government that appears deaf. I can tell you that as we speak, we have met with relevant agencies of government severally. Well-meaning Nigerians have intervened in this crisis. You will recall that the president of the Senate had to intervene at some point. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, who must be commended for his interest in the resolution of the crisis, have intervened more than 3 times. But you just find out that those who are supposed to implement the decisions that are reached and bring this issue to a closure are the ones who are deliberately refusing to do what is right. And that is why, after our consultation, after exploring all other amicable options and it fails, our union would have no choice but to go on strike. We are not strike mongers. We go to strike with great pains. Let me tell you, in 2020, when we were on strike, our salaries were withheld for more than 9 months with colossal suffering to our members, our families, our dependents, etc. So it is not that we gain anything from going on strike. It is only when we are pushed to the wall like the government is currently doing, that we have no any other option.
Well, I'm afraid, Daily, for want of time, that is how much we can take on the news. Well, Daily Ashiru, Chairman, ASU Lagos State Chapter, thank you very much for your time and your contributions. Well, still in education, 3 Nigerians who have distinguished themselves in the field of science and technology have been conferred with the 2020-2021 Nigerian National Order of Merit Award. Honoring the recipients, President Muhammadu Buhari encouraged them to continue serving as beacons of hope to the younger generation, adding that the country will continue to recognize and celebrate scholarly achievements. Well, details in this next report. After nearly 2 years since the last Nigerian National Order of Merit Awards was held owing to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday conferred the highest national academic award on 3 Nigerians. Of the over 1,200 nominations received over the 2-year waiting period and the numerous selection processes, these 3 academics, the late Professor Charles Chidome for Science, Oluyinka Olutoye for Medicine, and Professor Godwin Ekagware also for Science, emerged recipients for the award for 2020 and 2021. With 79 awardees in receipt of the coveted award since its inception in 1979, 43 years ago, President Buhari welcomed the new laureate for their contributions to science and technology, a field he illuminates as the hallmark of the future.
Please endeavor at all times to serve as beacons of hope and aspirations for the younger generation of Nigerians, reminding them that our survival and collective future as a nation ultimately rests on our being active participants in global developmental efforts, especially in science and technology.
Speaking during the ceremony, the Minister of Special Duties, George Akume, called on Nigerian universities to lead innovative researchers targeted at providing solutions to problems affecting the country.
Let me also use this opportunity to call on Nigerian universities, both public and private, to rise up to the challenge and continue to lead in innovative research targeted at providing solutions to the many problems affecting the country, especially post-COVID-19 era. This task can only be achieved through a combination of concerted efforts of scientific and technological innovations by the brightest minds across the country.
Further buttressing the achievements of the awardees, Chairman of the NNOM Award, Yakubu Aku, said only deserving recipients who were adjudged worthy were bestowed with the prestigious award with a cash reward of 10 million naira each.
The recipients of the NNOM Award are people who have made outstanding and valuable contributions to national and global attainments in all fields of human endeavor. Not just a national treasure, you are now important milestones in the history of Nigeria's upward path.
On the request of the chairman of the governing board over the dwindling budgetary allocation to the agency and its numerous constraints, President Muhammadu Buhari has promised that the federal government would provide special intervention as was done in year 2020 to the NNMA within limited resources available to aid the agency in carrying out its mandatory functions. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria. The Nigerian Senate has confirmed the nominations of Namonso Ekanem and Mahmoud Abubakar Magaji as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission. The nominees, who are from Akwa Ibom and Niger states, are to represent the South, South and North Central Zone of the Commission, respectively. The confirmation of both nominees followed the consideration of a report by the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters. Chairman of the committee, Opeyemi Bamidele, in his presentation said their nominations were made by President Muhammadu Buhari in line with the Constitution, adding that the nominees are fit for appointment as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission.
That the appointment of the nominees satisfied the requirement of paragraph 12E of the third schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, on the appointment of members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission. 2, that the nominees, Nnamonso Ekanem SAN and Mahmoud Abubakar Magaji SAN, are fit and proper persons for appointment as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission. The Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, having screened the nominees and being satisfied about their integrity, experience, performance, qualifications, and competence, hereby recommends that the Senate do confirm the nominations of Nnamonso Ekanem SAN and Mahmoud Abubakar Magaji SAN for appointment as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission.
Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Nnamonso Ekanem SAN from Akwa Ibom State, representing South Zone, as a member of the Federal Judicial Service Commission? Those in favor will say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mahmoud Abubakar Magaji SAN from Niger State, representing North Central Zone, as a member of the Federal Judicial Service Commission? Those in favor will say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, DR Congo uncovers bid to destabilize government. Details of this story and more right after this break. Glad to have you back. Now here is a recap of our top stories tonight. A notorious leader of the indigenous people of Biafra Eastern Security Network and 3 of the men have been shot dead by troops of the Nigerian Army. Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, Director Army Public Relations, said the troops confronted him and his colleagues in district court. AGK and his men were enforcing a sit-at-home order and firing sporadically in and around a fuel station in Ihala town in Anambra State. We also told you that following the adulteration of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, which led to panic buying and long queues, the federal government has said there will be a major investigation to know the cause of the unsafe quantity of methanol in the fuel imported into the country. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, made this known at a media briefing after the Federal Executive Council meeting in the State House on Wednesday. Well, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. The World Health Organization has urged rich countries to pay their share of the money needed for its plan to conquer COVID-19 by contributing $16 billion as a matter of urgency. WHO said the rapid cash injection into its access to COVID-2's accelerator could finish off COVID-19 as a global health emergency. According to the WHO, about $23.4 billion is needed for the program between October 2021 to September 2022, but only $800 million has been raised so far. We'll take another break now and return with business stories. To stay with us. Welcome back. Simisola Adigun joins us now for more stories in business. Over to you, Simisola.
Thank you, Mary. And in business, the federal government needs to tackle the issue of illicit financial flows in the country head-on to avoid a bigger financial problem in the future. This is the submission of stakeholders in a dialogue on illicit financial flows in ECOWAS member states organized by the West African Tax Administration Forum in conjunction with the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, in Abuja on Wednesday. At the event, stakeholders noted that funds involved in the menace could be channeled to job creation, improving infrastructure, reducing inequality, and addressing poverty in the country. They thereafter urged the government to deploy a holistic approach in tackling the menace before it gets out of hand.
The loss of revenues which you need to build schools, which you need to build clinics, which you need to provide social services and to build infrastructure. So I think that's the first impact. The second impact, of course, is on governance. When you have processes that undermine good governance, then what you have is a situation in which things like corruption, things like tax evasion, things like criminal money laundering undermine the good order of society. So it's important to stop illicit financial flows.
We want National Assembly to begin to talk with the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure that Central Bank of Nigeria block the leakages, because all the financial institutions in Nigeria are being regulated and governed by Central Bank of Nigeria, and therefore we cannot be losing this huge amount of billions annually, and Central Bank of Nigeria is not showing so much interest to block the leakages.
What we need to do as a country is to begin to ask ourselves, this is a problem that all of us will have to address. So government on its own should promote interagency collaboration so that the likes of the EFCC, NFIU, FRS and all other arms of government can actually collaborate. And then also there should be the issue of legislation and enforcement of legislation. Because when you don't punish people, you just slap them on the wrist, they will continue to do the same thing over and over again.
We'll go for a break and be back with stock market report. After 2 consecutive days of negative closes, the equities market ended Wednesday on a positive note, gaining 54 billion naira. Ending today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 297 million volume of shares valued at 4.694 billion naira exchanged hands in 4,661 deals. Moving on, 123 NGX equities participated in trading today, ending with 27 gainers and 14 losers. Leading the gainers territory, we have RT Brosco and SCOA Nigeria with a combined gain of 1 naira 83 kobo. On the losers counter, Julie Pharmacy and Multiverse take the lead with a combined 1 naira 2 kobo loss. Not forgetting the benchmark all-share index, which inched up 0.21% to close at 47.157.23 million dollars. Our capitalization stands at 25.3 trillion naira. Well, it's looking good for select global stocks, FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei, as they all close trading in the positive territory at 1.06%, 0.87% and 1.08% respectively. Meanwhile, markets are still on alert for rate increases in both the Eurozone and the United States after the European Central Bank last week was considered to have adopted a more aggressive tone. That's all on Stock Market Report. It's back to Mary.
Well, many thanks for that update, Simisola. Now on the global scene, investigators in the Democratic Republic of Congo say they have discovered serious evidence pointing to actions against national security, the presidential spokesman has said. In a statement read on state television on Tuesday night, authorities said such an attempt to destabilize democratic institutions would not be tolerated. It follows the arrest on Saturday of Franco Beya, the special security advisor to President Felix Tshisekedi. The arrest triggered protests with members of the president's party taken to the streets. And it's time for Entertainment Report on News Now.
reactions have continued to pour following the leak of a new tape belonging to popular singer Oxlade. In the tape, which has since gone viral on social media, the music star is seen having sexual intercourse with a yet-to-be-identified lady. Following the leak of the tape, several reactions have continued to pour on Twitter. As usual, Nigerians have found humor in the tape, while some expressed how impressed they were about the singer's prowess. Some have expressed displeasure at the singer. Former Big Brother Naija housemates Bam Bam and Teddy A are expecting their second child together. The celebrity couple made this known during an episode of their show Uncut with Bam Teddy. The reality TV star was spotted with her protruding stomach at the gym in the episode, while she also made side jokes about the pregnancy. Bam Bam and Teddy A tied the knot in 2019 and welcomed their first child in 2020. The estranged wife of the Oni of Ife, Naomi Shilekonola, has finally broken her silence on social media. It will be recalled that the last time the Queen shared a post on social media was in December 2021, when she announced that her marriage to Obadeyeye Ogunwusi was over. In a video shared via Instagram stories, the Queen had the lyrics of I Am Beauty by Afro soul singer Bassey Kenneth, popularly known as BK, playing in the background. And that is all that we have for you in the entertainment segment of News Now.
Now in sports, Senegal has rewarded each member of the national football team with cash prizes and plots of land following their victory at the Africa Cup of Nations tournament on Sunday. Each team member received the equivalent of $87,000 as well as a 200 square meter plot in the capital Dakar and a 500 square meter plot in the nearby city of Diamniadio. In a ceremony at the presidential palace, the team members were appointed members to Senegal's prestigious Order of the Lion by President Macky Sall. Senegal defeated Egypt 4-2 in penalties, becoming the tournament's champions for the first time in their history. Well, that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Mary Kanu.